what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy it. Okay, I'm going to do, so this is an old managerial technique. Now, generally with Taylor, I like to just crap on him 24/7.
Yeah.
Some managers will try to send you a posy burger where they tell you something positive, then they get into the negative, and then they finish with something positive. So I'll try to do that here.
Okay.
One of the big positives coming out of spring thus far has reportedly been Jacobian Guillory. And I would ask you all the question, is Jacobian Guillory arguably, outside of quarterback, just because quarterback's always going to matter the most to any football conversation in any way, is Jacobian Guillory actually the most important member of this football team?
That's a great question because outside of 2007 in Glenn Dorsey, I don't know that this question would ever be asked.
True.
But with what you have currently, now we all know that they are still going to add players at that position. Like it's going to happen. Like they've already got some that pretty much are here.
Yeah, but it's not going to be. It's not. But yes, but it's not going to be anybody overwhelming necessarily.
It's going to be solid. I think solid's the best that you can get. You're not going to get a superstar, to your point, T. So someone who has been here, played a bunch of years in a row, knows the program at that position with what it looks like, it's a fair question to ask. Now, maybe not the most important, but he's in the top 3.
So I think you could frame it as, let's not even talk about Guillory's talent quite yet, but just the context of the situation means he is, incredibly important to the success of this team. Now, that's why I say I'm starting this as a positive, is reportedly he's been kicking ass in spring. He's been playing very well. And I mentioned I was talking to LSU strength staff member a couple weeks ago, and I was asking who the strongest guys on the team were. He mentioned Will Campbell, Jacobian Guillory. And Jacobian Guillory just had the conversation about Kyron Lacey having opportunity in front of him and then having to step through and answer that call. Nobody has more opportunity on this team than does Jacobian Guillory. To finally become the next great LSU defensive tackle. And it appears that thus far, against a very good LSU offensive line, he's been able to do that. Now for the negative. Oh, wait, go ahead.
Yeah, it is going to be a position that you almost want to put in bubble wrap. We understand that. Now, Guillory is a very talented player. Maybe didn't hit the ground running like you'd wanted him to, and he sat behind some really good players, some 5-star guys at the position. You go get a transfer that ends up being an All-American in Wingo, but he was a fringe top 100 player coming out, regardless of position. I mean, he came in at 104 on 3.
He's massive.
This is somebody that has the talent. So this isn't pumping sunshine. Top 100 players at that position, they don't happen very often.
No.
And so he has the talent. He's played already a bunch in his LSU career. I mean, he's basically played since he's been here. Never really been the guy because you've had Mason Smith and others. But now is his time, and he's got the ability. And, again, bubble wrap.
Well, if he can have like a Christian Lockhart type season, and he's going to be required rep-wise to probably do some similar stuff, then that could be massive for this defense. So now we get to the negative, and this is not to hate on this man because maybe this man proves me wrong. But I think it's impossible not to be a little disconcerted when you hear that Kimo Makaniole is taking first-team reps at defensive tackle. And in case you don't know, Kimo Makaniole was an offensive lineman until about a month ago, until right before spring ball. And they switched him over. In fact, much to Taylor's chagrin, I don't know if I'm using that correctly, at practice a couple of weeks ago, Kimo Makaniole sat down for an interview. And for the first 5 minutes, he was interviewed as an offensive lineman, right?
Yeah. People didn't even remember that he had moved over. Because the first couple questions are like, hey, what's it like working with Nussmeier? You got Will Campbell and Emory Jones on that O-line. How are they becoming leaders? And he was kind of hinting at it. He's like, well, the big leader on the defensive lines, Jacobian Guillory. And then finally people picked up on it.
And so that would be, and again, maybe, like I've never seen the O-line and D-line switch really work. Maybe Chemo proves me wrong. I would love to be proven wrong. This is, again, not as much of a slight against Chemo as much as it is just against the makeup of the position that you could have a guy transfer a month ago and now be taking first-team reps.
But now, maybe to go from that side of the ball to the defensive line, but our national championship team in 2007 and your team in 2011, like Lyle Hitt and Carnell Stewart both started their LSU career firmly on the D-line.
Well, no, that works a lot, though. But, I mean, Joe Barksdale did that. He was awesome. I've just never seen it the other way. Will Blackwell became an All-American.
Now, the thing is, it shouldn't be that case because, in my opinion, now I'm an offensive player, so probably I'm biased here. There's way more, technical aspects of playing the offensive line than D-line.
Yeah, but it's that athleticism, dog.
Like D-line,
yeah,
it's not see-ball, get-ball, but...
Yeah, but it is, but that's the thing. The guys that can't cut it athletically are the guys that end up switching to O-line.
Are you hating on Will Blackwell's athletic ability?
Dude.
I feel like you're taking a shot at your boy right now.
Chase Pittman cursed LSU white defensive linemen for a long time until Christian Lockhart broke the curse. But no, that just is what it is. Like it's O-line's much more technique, much more mental. D-line is, are you a physical freak? And so I just, again, I see the reverse all the time. I've never seen the O-line and D-line work out to any great degree. So I hope Chemo proves me wrong. I'd say that's a negative. Let's get to our positive burger. Let's finish with a positive. I'm loving the increased hype around Major Burns and Sage Ryan. And that's another thing that we talked about on Friday, Jake. But Major Burns now being able to play in a position that seems to much better fit him in this star role, closer to the ball, almost like a hybrid linebacker sort of field. And now Sage Ryan, for the first time in his career, getting to really play the position that he was recruited to play. More of like an actual free safety type of role. And what you're hearing is that the returns thus far have been very positive.
Talking about important players.
Yeah.
And again, like when we say that, we're not saying that they're the most talented players out there. Now, Sage Ryan, I do think has a skill set that hasn't been fully tapped yet. That's not what we're saying. But as far as importance, when you look at the deficiencies that you have on that side of the football, and we know them, the coaches know them, everybody knows them, right? The roster is still trying to be built over on that side of the football. Those players, the three players that we're talking about here, are going to be as impactful as any.
Yeah.
Because of the numbers, because of how much they've played, and the guys that are going to probably play some are all going to be probably freshmen, but at most a sophomore that's got a little bit of playing time. And so because of that, like those players are going to be highly impactful in how your season ends up turning out. And so with Major Burns being there, and he's going to play a little bit of a different role, going to play a star position, which I think suits him better than Sage Ryan, who, tip your cap to him, played corner, even though that's not where he needed to be because he had to, and he held his own. Now he gets to be in a position where he can go out there and do what he was brought in to do as a 5-star player. So those two guys and Guillory as well, they're going to be three of the most important players on the team.
Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.